Fortunately, I have Will here to keep the wheels on the bus in case my internet decides to take a dive. Cheers. It's been a week of Mondays, man. How you doing?
Good. Just happy to be here. Been kind of grinding away at work and, feeling down. But now I feel great because I'm here. And we
Cool.
have a wonderful guest today, and I just can't wait to see what he's got in store for us. I'm sure it's going to be good stuff.
Indeed. So let's introduce our playlist guest tonight. Live from Helladove headquarters, it's Ted DarkClaw. Hey,
Man,
Ted.
that was a wild intro, man. Absolutely wild. Crazy. Thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate this. It means the world to me, and it's really cool to see this show just like booming. I'm a little stressed because I have tough acts to follow. You've had the Black Knight, my partner at Hello Dope Toys, and then you had Articulated
The original.
Chad. You've had Laser Pants on. Like, oh, my
Indeed.
plate's full
But
today,
it's,
man.
hey, this is the aspect of the lounge that we enjoy the most. It's where guys who enjoy toy collecting get to talk about something other than toys and just kick it and enjoy some old school tunage. So let's see what's going on in the chat because it seems to be a poppin'. Our buddy Bjorn Super Wrench with his usual shamalama ding dong.
Schmodulok.
And,
It's Schmebulok, I think. I'm working on it, Bjorn. I'm working.
indeed, Black Knight's here to support his buddy.
The OG, the original Infinite Playlist.
That's right. It was Aaron that inspired this whole shebang. So kudos to the Black Knight. And, hello, Cleveland. It's all good. And we've got James from Ratface 44 Reviews. Great channel. Please check it out. He does some really cool stuff over there. We got this guy, Wilhelm Toy and Hobby. I'm not familiar with him, really.
Who's that?
Who dat? Who dat Dell? We've got Bill from Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures.
Bill,
Nice
what's
to see you.
happening?
Old alumni member there. Realm of Toys. Howdy, howdy.
How's it going?
Our buddy from way over on the other side of the world, Johnny Sorensen, the Bat fan on Batman. He does some really cool stuff about the Bat. You should check out what he's working on. The Epic Badger, another alumni of the Infinite Playlist. Brick Something, one of our favorite people who does really cool vintage and modern
Let's
toy
try to
reviews and
do it right. Maybe it's
Indeed.
this way. No. I always mess it up.
Me too. It's all
This is the
good.
piece in the
It's
Salzburg. What's up?
Peace and power. James Salzberg, another of our buddies from way back. And I think that's got us almost caught up with the chat. So without further ado, let's see what's in the DarkClaw playlist, the dossier, if you will. And for those who don't know, Ted's moniker comes from the amalgamated comics of Marvel and DC from back in the day. And they did a mashup of Wolverine and Batman and came up with the DarkClaw, which is kind of a cool little comic if you want to check
of
those
the
out.
amalgamated universe. It is the Star. So yeah, I love it, and I love that they did it in the style of the Batman animated series on this cover. So cool. I've never seen that one before.
Rolando, hola, amigo.
Hey, how's it going, Rolando?
So Ted, take us down memory lane, buddy. Where did your playlist begin? Is it picking up tunes from Ma and Pa, or something that you hooked up with Aaron and you were playing some mixtapes? Where did your love of music begin?
So I was really late to the music game. Like I don't know, I was just too busy being outside and whatnot. So a lot of it really started around middle school is when I actually started defining my own taste. My parents were sci-fi loving hippies, so I listened to a lot of what's called folk music. It's like folk music, but sci-fi. I don't know. So it was a lot of weird music. We had a station here in Columbus called CD 101, which played a lot of alternative music, a lot of
Was it
Cranberries.
like a college station or?
No, it's just a independent radio station. They're still going. They've had to jump channels a few times, but they just play a lot of the stuff they didn't hear. So like I said, Cranberries, Crash Test Dummies. They played Nirvana, and Hendrix, and I think that's really where it started. But it wasn't until we got cable and I could watch MTV that I actually started, hearing music, listening to music, and
That's right.
following it and getting my own taste on it.
I want MTV. Demand your MTV. Those were great years. The 80s, again, I've said it before. I'm biased. 80s had the best music. We had really good stuff. We got spoiled by all kinds of stuff, anywhere from punk to pop to hard rock. Just some great acts were out there, and MTV showcased it all before they went all weird and started doing the Real World and all that other Jersey Shore and crap. But
Yeah.
when they were actually a music channel, it was fun. So,
It was good. There were channels later on that still just did music videos all day, and that's what we prefer. And I have some stories about Aaron and I, charging a lot of money to his mother's phone to order music videos in the middle of the night at sleepovers. So
Yeah, I remember
yes.
that.
Now,
Yeah, they had to.
touching on your sexy trio days, Aaron says you're actually pretty good at playing guitar. Is this a true statement, or is he referring to your air guitar?
well, so I actually learned to play guitar from air guitar. My mother was awesome. She bought me a book, how to play air guitar, and not only did it come with a free pick, but it came with a free guitar, and that's that's where all that started. But yes, no. Eventually, I did play the guitar, and I'll probably touch on that a little bit later on through the album playlist. But I used to be really good. Hella dope and a real job and a wife and 3 dogs really prevents me from touching it nowadays. But
Yeah, time constraints. Fortunately, Action Figures, Axion, for those who are in the know, is
Ed, my
here.
man.
So we can begin. We're ready to start now because we have our other super wrench from Hella Dope.
we
So
were
let's-
waiting for you, Ed. We were waiting.
That's right. So let's dig into the playlist, starting with some Kid Rock, some Americana.
All right, so I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, and I just need everyone to be patient with me for a moment. So the first album that I put up was Kid Rock's The History of Rock, and it came right after his first signature album, and it was kind of a follow-up. The weird thing about the follow-up was he released only one single, and that was American Badass. So when I play this album, I actually do not play American Badass. Luckily, it's the second track, and I skip it. I start on track 3. But nowadays, Kid Rock gets a lot of hate. I think this was actually the last good album that he put out, and I'll expand onto why here in a minute. Because after this, he released Cocky, which was just a hot mess, and then he just went full-blown country. And it's a shame because the Devil Without a Cause, which was his first real album, at least for the public, was awesome. I love that album too. And then there's this one, but this one has a special place in my heart. So what's interesting about this album and why they only released one single was because he pretty much took older songs that he had done back in the day, and they kind of remastered them a little bit. So some of them they re-recorded. Some of them are just straight from the old album. Some of them, they added Josie in for a random verse. So you can tell when you go through the album, his voice changes a little bit. It sounds a little weird. But I think that's what I love the most about this was a lot of these songs are from before he was famous and when he was on that grind and he was really trying to build a name. He had the hunger and he had the fight. And then, when Cocky came out, which was the album after this, he didn't have that anymore. He was already made by that point. But
Right.
this album got lost in the weeds, aside from American Badass, which was, him kind of covering Metallica. I don't know. A lot of people were angry about it. The Undertaker came out to it for a while, for a few
Right.
years.
This
the
was
American
his intro when he was coming on stage.
Mhm.
Never
You know,
really owned like a Kid Rock album, but obviously familiar with it. But he seems to be like a really talented musician, and it feels like maybe he did his best work trying to make it, and then once he did, maybe he stopped, or like once he had that success, he didn't like.
I would say he is very much, a guy who loves America and is stuck in a certain mindset that says, America minus the A, that kind of, drink beer, shoot some guns, and talk about politics, even if it's politically incorrect. He didn't care. It's all good. He's a fun guy to listen to. He kind of straddles that line between rap and hard rock. And it's just, it's a fun type of music to just put on in the background when you want something that's got a good rock and beat to it.
Yeah, and there's a few songs on the album that I'd like to touch on, and the one that won me over is track number 3, which is where I started because the first track is just an intro, and then there's American Badass. But Prodigal Son, and I got to give credit to it's not just Kid Rock on this. He has a backup band, which is Twisted Brown Trucker, which is absolutely amazing. They're a combination of like metal and soul and hip hop and blues. Like Twisted Brown Trucker is a phenomenal band, and if they had some sort of solo release, I would be all over that. However, they back him up, and I really think that's what makes a lot of the album. Not all of Kid Rock's lyrics technically age well.
Right. I like Ross Amphibian's take on it. Moonshine rap. I mean, I can dig that. That totally sums it up.
But Prodigal Son was very much a song that I was relating to at that time in my life. It's about leaving home at a young age and then going out there and finding your way, finding love, losing love, and still grinding it out. And even to this day, like if you're gonna listen to one song from this album, I recommend it just being Prodigal Son, track number 3. Absolutely amazing. They've booted it from Spotify because I feel like they're trying to bury this album, but you can find the whole thing on YouTube, and I strongly recommend it. Aside from that, Early Morning Stone Pimp, put your headphones in. This is a challenge for you. Put your headphones in, listen to Early Morning Stone Pimp, and take a walk. If that does not put some pep in your step, you can come at me and be like, you know what? I hated that whole thing. And I'll be like,
this isn't the show for that, Ross Amphibian, but we are definitely sipping on some tasty beverages. I am doing a Gallo, which is the beer with the cock on the label. That's our Guatemalan favorite. I know you've got your Hella Dope cup there. What you got sipping on there, buddy?
So I went a little hard on Sunday. So today we do have water, but I always got the side piece.
That's
here.
Right. Got to stay hydrated.
Absolutely.
Will, what's your poison today?
I've got some great value Walmart brand purified drinking water. Some quality
Indeed.
H2O.
Well, you guys drink the water. I'll do the cerveza tonight. So it's all good. So from Kid Rock, we slide into a whole different genre with Radiohead. Very eclectic, but I'm digging it. Great music that you can put on in the background. This whole album, you just let it wash over you. Good stuff.
And that's how I explain it to people. So I can't, aside from the first track, which is everything in its right place, I can't name a song on here because I would never just listen to one song on Kid A. So it annoys me actually because there are singles from this. It annoys
Sure.
me when I do hear it on the radio because
Everything
Right.
in its right place is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But all of them are good. There is a question here from your buddy
Okay.
talking about Kid Rock. I think is he talking about track number 3 that you were recommending?
If he's talking about Prodigal Son, that's number 3. Early Morning
Mhm.
Morning Stone Pimp is like 4 or 5, maybe. It's
Okay.
early in the album. But I listen to Kid A as one song, start to finish. Like
Yeah.
I don't know the names of the songs. All I know is it's one song, and it is called Kid A. This was introduced to me like my senior year of high school. I was in the polyrad class, and there were a bunch of guys. This album had just dropped, and they were just talking about how amazing it was. And I'm not a big Radiohead guy, and they were just talking about how the background music aspect of it was so perfect for them. They were able to do all these things. So I was actually at Aaron's work, the Video Game Music Exchange, just loading up on CDs. You know, I had a paycheck. I went to town, found Kid A. I gave it a try, and it's perfect right brain music. If you're doing any sort of right brain activity, pop this in. I want to say it's about 45 minutes long. So it's a 45-minute long song, guys, because we listen to this from start to finish. There's no jumping around. There's no shuffling. There's
And it
no
all flows together.
Yeah, it tells us
Just a brief interruption here. Mr. Wonderful, who was a guest on your show lately, cheers. He's working on some really cool, nifty ideas for doing some stands for our figures. I hope that has great success, and we will be watching to see where that develops.
I know that Mr. Wonderful is going to be making a lot of rounds very soon. So if you want to get in on the ground floor, check out our show from last Sunday, but you're going to be seeing a lot of him real soon.
Cool. And Brick Something says National Anthem on Kid A is his jam. It is this record is one long rad song. I agree.
Nice.
It's you just put it on and let it roll.
It's cool. Pink Floyd-ish in a way, where it does just take you on a journey. I specifically like it when I'm writing, or again when I used to draw, I would put it on, or even if I'm just having a bad day. Like it's good, and I don't need Kid A all the time. Like sometimes I won't listen to this album for 3 years, but when I need Kid A takes care of me.
Yeah, and just some background on it. When they put this together, they'd really done a hard and heavy promotion on OK Computer, and after that, they just needed a break. So they went back to their roots of doing electronic and ambient type music, threw in a little jazz, a little bit of classical, and we're just playing with some awesome modular synthesizers and just seeing what they could make these machines do. And came up with some great sounds, incorporated samples and loops, and used software to just make it one long story. Electronic and music, married together in the best way. So it's a great album. Everybody should have this in their playlist, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Ted's playlist is in the description below. So if you guys want to check out some of these, we've linked what we can find from the YouTubes where these albums are played, and check them out for yourself.
For sure. But yeah, no, really love it. Check it out, guys. And like I said, start to finish. That's how you do it.
I don't know. For some reason that none of this is familiar to me. I'm wondering how this escaped me my entire life, but I am intrigued because, I really do enjoy that whole album experience. So I'm going to definitely put this on next time I'm doing something and experience it myself. So thank you, Ted.
Yeah, it's not something you want to play when you're going to the gym or if you're about to go to work or something, but man, a good unwind or writing, creating, editing, that's where it's at.
It's very mellow, unlike this next album, which is very hard and heavy and hits you in the feels, especially if you follow any of the drama that went on here with these individuals. This is one that doesn't surprise me, was on Aaron's playlist as well. I'm sure you guys probably listen to this together a lot. What's the backstory with your connection with B.I.G.?
So, this was like one of the first real rap albums that I bought. I had listened to like a little bit of the Fat Boys in the late 80s, early 90s, just from the
Nice.
babysitter, you know. But this was like my first real delve into it. And, you know, Hypnotize is what brings you to the table.
Mm,
And then you realize once you, because this was a 2-disc album,
right.
there's a lot of content in this album. Not all of it's great, but like there's that debate between Tupac and Biggie, who's the greatest. I'm a Biggie guy, and I'm going to tell you why right now. This man tells you a story and takes you on a journey, and I'm going to give you 2 examples of that. The first one is literally a song called "I Got a Story to Tell." I'm going to spoil it for you, friends. I'm going to spoil it for you. Biggie, and he raps this whole thing just so beautifully. The song takes place. He just had an event. He's talking with his boys. He was at some girl's house that he shouldn't have been with. She was married. You know, Biggie's laying his Mac down. Her husband comes home. Her husband's this famous NBA player. You know, they're in a mansion. He's freaking out because he's like, well, my only option is to kill him. Like that's it. So in the moment of chaos, he can't fit out a window, right? He puts on pantyhose over his head and pretends like he's robbing the place. So the guy comes in, he gets all scared, and he's got his gun, he's got the mask on, he's just robbing this famous NBA player. And suddenly this guy's just giving him watches and money and stuff. So Biggie snuck into this dude's house, got with his girl, and then robbed him, and then got away just scot-free. And then went back home and told all his boys, you know, over, you know, a beer and a smoke. And it's literally called "I Got a Story to Tell," and it's amazing. And there's one other example, and that's "Somebody's Gotta Die," where Biggie's woken up in the middle of the night. Some guy came to his house. One of his people had been hit. They know who it is. It's this guy named Jason. And the whole song is about him prepping, almost like a ritual, to go get his revenge on Jason. And in this, he's talking about how, well, I got to be the guy to do the job because the rest of you are going to screw it up because you're going to end up missing. You're going to shoot some kid. You're going to shoot some innocent person. He goes, not me. Direct shot, one guy. It's done. Let's go take care of business. And, you know, again, all these songs have a twist. And in the end, he does find his guy. But when he starts unloading, he turns around and he's holding his daughter. And, you know, all the things he said he wasn't going to do, he ended up doing that exact thing. So
Yeah,
Biggie is an amazing storyteller.
exactly. This whole genre of gangsta rap is very truth being stranger than fiction, where, you know, they're pulling from real life, you know, and the whole East Coast, West Coast drama. I wasn't really into it. I'm a dumb redneck from Tennessee, so this really wasn't my thing. But looking into it, I mean, it's really interesting to see the backstory of where these songs came from and the stories they tell.
And like I said, not a lot, not all of it is great. You know, he was trying to bring up his people, Junior Mafia, and they weren't great. So not all of these songs are hits, but you know, there's songs like "Kick in the Door," "10 Crack Commandments," just a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah,
I like the 10 Crack Commandments.
It's a business Bible, man. I abide by the 10 Crack Commandments.
well, moving on to something a little more my speed is Nirvana. Again, these guys, they kind of are known for celebrating the grunge movement, but they're really beyond that. Kurt Cobain, great lyricist, troubled man who put some very deep, dark thoughts into his lyrics and expressed some things and some angst that he was dealing with. And this was probably their quintessential album. A lot of good tracks on this, and sadly, some of the last that we heard from Kurt.
Yeah. So with this one, you know, if anybody came to me, whether they be an alien or a 16-year-old kid, and they asked me what is grunge music, this is the definitive album that I would hand them. And I know Nirvana has, you know, a few albums out there, but like I forget the Alice in Chains and the whole Seattle thing. This album, In Utero, is what I define as grunge. Grunge music, 100%. and a lot of it is beautiful. And I have one brief story to share in here about this one, and that's the song Tourette's. It's a very short song. It's a very heavy song. We used to call it the headbanging song because when we'd be driving, playing, you just headbang. I
Sure.
used to direct the school announcements in high school, so we did a televised show that went throughout the school, and I had complete control over the show. We'd play a song at the end, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start a school-wide headbanging session. And so we played this song at the end, and the goal was to just get the entire school headbanging. And I had, people out in classes, and, they got back to me, and I was like, yeah, how did that go? How did the school-wide headbanging go? And they all told me, and you know what? I was blown away by the fact that nobody participated in it at all. The only people doing it were me and the people I forced in the studio. So,
well, welcome to Payne's Toy Samples. He says he looks like he came in at the right moment.
Nice.
As a gentleman who has studied the psyche and has looked at ways to help with not only traditional therapy but toy therapy, which I really appreciate what he's doing on his channel. I'm curious to hear what Payne has to say about how music influences people's whether it's recovery or therapy or coping skills. I'm sure music has a lot to do with that. So be interesting to see his take on that.
But I absolutely love that story, Ted. The fact that you
Yeah.
tried to do it is the important part. The fact that all these lame people didn't get in there and get in on it is the regret and failure of all of those people. Not you, my friend. You are a hero.
That's right. You tried to lead the way, and they just weren't ready to follow yet.
Tried to start a revolution. Tried real hard. But, like I said, the people I forced to do it did it, and I got something out of it. But it's still, Tourette's is the headbanging song. If you put on Tourette's, it is a requirement that you headbang.
I'll never listen to it and not do that. So that's great.
There you go.
Yeah.
And of course, you got to go old school.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I have a lot on this one. So I put the best of album on here because, that's really just what needs to be. You need all of Jimi Hendrix. But the first time I heard Jimi Hendrix was actually when I was a very, very young boy, during the Masters of the Universe movie. There is a scene where guy's taking the cosmic key to Charlie's record shop, and in the background, Purple Haze is playing. And that was my first introduction to Jimi Hendrix. And I didn't know, I was a kid, I didn't know that was a real song.
I would have never connected Jimi Hendrix and Masters of the Universe. I did not catch that connection.
Isn't that great how people get their first experience and then it leads them to
That's what it was. And I didn't hear it for years and years and years. And then I heard it on the radio one day because it was always stuck in my head. And I was like, this is the He-Man song.
Oh, no.
And then it was when Jimmy fully took over my life was through Hollywood Hulk Hogan. In 97, 98, he started coming out for his NWO entrance to Voodoo Child. And from that point, I was sold. So I did play guitar. I was blessed to be trained by a bluesman by trade, and he very much Mr. Miyagi'd me, where he just taught me scales. I didn't learn any chords or anything like that.
Was there wax on, wax off action? Did he make you wax his car?
Yeah. He did not. He did not. I don't know if he even had a car. But I would have to learn these scales, and it was boring. And I was really annoyed by it. And one day he was like, fine, I'll teach you 3 chords. You're going to play these 3 chords. And then he just started wailing on lead guitar. And he goes, these are all the scales that I have been teaching you. And he goes, now you can do it.
Oh,
and
cool.
I studied a lot.
Put it all together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick break here again. As I asked about Payne and his work on therapy and music. Music is a great coping skill that can often be a way for someone who struggles to express emotions, express what they are feeling in a safe way. That's very cool. And yeah, I totally agree. That's definitely how I use music a lot of times. So interesting sentiment. One of those $5 words.
Those words. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just going through the chat here.
I was going to say, so when I learned about these scales and when I learned about Jimi Hendrix, I started studying him. So I was just a crazy person in my basement, just using these scales. And I've always had a good ear, so I could just hear stuff. And if you give me a few minutes, I can probably figure it out. But I would just listen to it over and over. And I found out how, I don't want to call what Hendrix does simplistic because the man's a freaking artist, but a lot of his basic stuff is just based off of these scales, and it's just some hammering and some guitar chord bending. And it just blew my mind how he took these scales and just destroyed them. Like he just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
But
What I love about Hendrix is he was very humble about his talent. When you see him in interviews, he's like, hey, man, I'm just, I don't do a lot of rehearsal. I just kind of let the music flow. He was a true self-taught artist who just had a love for sound and took the guitar and did some great things with it.
And one of the nicest things that Aaron's done for me is he used to buy me, and I believe they're through McFarlane, Jimi Hendrix figures, and they're from the early 2000s. So in the D12 back here, I have 2 Jimi Hendrix figures. They're McFarlane, so they don't pose very well. But
they're statues.
Yeah, they're statues, but they came with amps and chords, and there's one where he's lighting the guitar on fire. So I have 2 different versions of it. I kept them in the clamshell for years and years and years. And when I got the D12s, I was just like, these things are old and dusty. Jimmy needs to vibe. So every now and then, I use Jimmy a lot as come down music as well. So I got to get hype, stay hype. And sometimes the hype just won't stop. So I use like songs like Hey Joe, Castles Made of Sand, The Wind Cries Mary, songs like that to just kind of bring me back down to earth.
I would say Jimmy's like one of the first bands I remember just stopping what I was doing, sitting down, closing my eyes, and just listening to the music. Like, it's not something that's going on in the background. It's not. I'm just there in the moment, experiencing music, and love Jimmy. That's just amazing.
I like Rolando says. Excuse me. A friend introduced him to Jimi Hendrix. It's a great way of learning about music is when somebody hands you a mixtape or somebody's playing something in the car. That's how we experience some great artists maybe we didn't know about. And I'm sure Ted's got a few stories like that where people have introduced some music to him.
That's what I love about this show. It's kind of like a rehashing of that because, we don't have those friends that, just hand us a tape during lunch or something.
To tell some stories and maybe even a little bit of dirty laundry. We have special
there he is.
So now the real show starts.
That's right. Don't hide, Ted. Hey, Aaron.
This guy.
How's it going?
I've been
Special thanks to Aaron.
We're waiting.
Yeah, exactly. See Largo right there. He's got all the great ideas. He's so good. He's caught in thought.
That's Eduardo because he wanted to come on, and we were like, "No, you stay back over there in the side yard." And then look what he does. He waits till a pivotal moment, and he pulls Jim's cord. So I think what Jim. Oh, let me line up. So what Jim was gonna say was. He was going to say, so now Aaron's here to tell us something.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know about this. I was with you this afternoon, sir.
You were.
I didn't hear it with it.
No, I'm just here to harass you, really. You can carry on.
That's right. And Jim's gone. We've taken over the show.
All right. So this week on the new Hella Dope show. For real. But you were talking about Jimi Hendrix. We spent many hours of the day, just vibing to Jimi Hendrix, beginning to end. Like you pick a song and you riding high with it, or you just a nice chill mode with a little something on the side to keep the mood right. But for real, that was a good choice in an album. I had that on my playlist also. So.
It's not just a single Hendrix album. So like it was the experience, and you have to have all of it because, in that album, I think it's 20 tracks, and You know, it
Oh.
has the national anthem on there, and I tried to mimic the way he played that so hard.
Yeah.
Learned it from him, never did it as well as him.
I think many have tried, and no one can bring the flair like Hendrix can. I mean,
No.
even your greatest guitarists, Stevie Ray Vaughan, like none of them, they can't. Like Jimi Hendrix was in a league by himself, and then there was
The
everybody
man
else.
was a natural. He's gifted. He's sharing his gift with you and expressing himself through the guitar. And it's just something you cannot recreate because it was just pure. It was in the moment, and that's what it was. Like you'll even hear on like some live things, he'll do things differently, right?
Yeah.
Like on live performances, he'll switch up like the way he does a song because he's just living in the moment, and
it really trips you out if you're listening to it in like surround sound stereo. Like 1 minute you have like audio over on this side, and then he's singing over here,
over
and then
here.
it flips. It's like, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, no, he'll flip your brain, man, because he'll just go and just move right around. Oh no!
Oh, and I remember, there was this one like awesome. One time we were, maybe out very late and may have been coming home from a party, and things may have been ingested, and we're walking home, and my friend had like this. We didn't really know this guy, but he had a boombox and he was carrying it, and he was playing this song. And for some reason, we just stopped and like sat on this hill and listened to the song. And it was a beautiful night. It was like summer, so the weather was like perfect, where it's not too hot, not too cold, just right. And just had this wonderful moment listening to this tape. But then we asked the guy what it was, and he like refused to tell us. Like he didn't want us to know. I mean, we knew it was Jimi Hendrix, but we just didn't know the name of the song or what album it was off of. And I spent like years trying to find the album, and I shouldn't have told the story because I don't remember what it was now. But I did find it, right. And I forget what it was, but it's some of the lesser known stuff. But it was beautiful, and in the moment, it was just great. I'm looking for the slides Largo put together because I didn't download them ahead of time. So
yeah, it looks like his electricity went out.
Yeah, I'm seeing. He might not have given me permission here. Usually, I could log in and just find them. So we're just gonna wing it because with Jim disappearing. Yeah, he lost it. So yeah, my story sucks. Sorry, guys. I don't remember what it was, but it was such a great song anyway. And I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna put it in the comments eventually. But it was, one of those lesser known albums, and like, a more obscure deep track that in the moment really just was great. And back then you didn't have the internet. You couldn't just Google it. So what I had to do was like go to music shops, and I would just buy any Jimi Hendrix like compilation or album. It was from a box set, I believe, and then it wasn't until the internet came out later on and I was able to search through the whole catalog and find like live shows and all this other stuff that I was able to find the song and finally listen to it again.
Yeah, that's the great thing about now you've got Spotify and Amazon Music and so many different music platforms where now you can just type in an artist name and somewhere it'll pop up.
Somewhere,
anywhere. Yeah. So Ted, what? Now that we don't have slides,
yeah.
What's the next song, man?
So, I mean, as far as Hendrix, that was covered. So we did some honorable mentions, and I think the first one was Sum 41's "Does This Look Infected?" Now, Aaron, you and I used to both have a fiery, passionate hate for Sum 40. Oh, there's Largo. I'll shut up for a minute. No, go ahead, man. You take your show back.
Yeah, I was just gonna fill in and just take over.
You're muted. Still muted. It's fine, guys. We're having this is the joys of the internet, man.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dolly Dagger. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, Dolly Dagger was a good one.
So what's wrong, Largo? You don't have audio?
Doesn't seem.
There he is. We can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be the other mic that we're hearing, the laptop mic or something, because it
Does
sounds
sound
distant.
a little distant? All right, let me see if I can tweak it. Every time I lose power and come back in, I have to
Now you're
change
back.
my settings. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe
Well,
it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, apologies. The internet. Where were we? Some 41.
Yeah, that's what we were kicking
There
off
you
with.
go.
All right.
So Aaron and I used to hate this band with a fiery passion. But I was hanging out with at the time my girlfriend who became Mrs. DarkClaw, and we were at her apartment, and the video for "Still Waiting" came on, which is off this album, and it actually really good song and made me kind of rethink the whole band in general. Great album from start to finish. We were blessed in 2019. They did a pop-up show here in Columbus at the Newport Music Hall. One of their shows got canceled. They just said at noon, like, hey, we're going to the Newport. Anybody who wants to come rock out. And it was absolutely an amazing show. Really happy I got to see them live before they disbanded. But this is a really fun album and made me appreciate the band a little bit more. And then seeing them all grown up, rocking out was a really cool experience.
Now, these were some Happy Canucks, right? These are a Canadian band that came together.
Yep.
One thing with Sum 41 that I liked is so many different styles you could find in their music. I like punk rock, obviously, but they dabbled in some pop. They had horror punk, which was kind of a new thing at that time. They threw a little bit of everything in there, including the kitchen sink. I was more familiar with All Killer No Filler more than I was this album, but good stuff that you can throw on in the background when you need something going and get your mojo rising, as they say.
Yeah, it's a short album, short and sweet, and it gets the job done. And like I said, a lot of fun from start to finish.
Absolutely. And then going back to some classic head banging metal, if you will.
So this is more of where I'm at now. I was not a big 80s hair band guy in my youth. I was very into the grunge and the hip hop at the time. And what the kids tell me now is I listen to dad rock. And this is part of dad rock.
Oh, no. Is that what we're calling it now? Are we that old?
That is what the 16-year-old kids tell me I listen to. I listen to dad rock. But, man, Kickstart My Heart, aside from Ace of Spades, those are two songs that if I need to get anything done and I am unmotivated, Kickstart My Heart is what I'm going to. And Dr. Feelgood is what I'm following up with. But love Motley Crue. Will not see them live now. I'm not going to go listen to Big Mac 103 or whatever lyrics he is spewing out now. I'm not down for it. I don't want them to ruin it. But I love them for what they were. And
yeah, some bands it's like, dude, just let it go. You're when you're pushing 50 and you're still trying to get up there rocking like you were 20, it ain't happening. But I kind of agree with G-Force Racing 20 here. There are a lot of bands that don't fit a particular genre, Sum 41 being a good example. The labels are usually put on by the record album producers who are trying to sell the record and trying to figure out where they fit. The term new wave was something that the record companies came up with. Nobody called themselves new wave. Nobody called themselves, any of these particular genres that we talk about, whether it's psychobilly, horror punk, whatever you want to call it. They had some punk flavor to them, but obviously they didn't fit any particular genre. So I'm digging that. But yes, and yes, dad rock, bruh, dad rock. We're all about the dad rock.
It's the Jeremy one that's the
Oh, the winger reference. Just want to admit it.
No, that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
I gotta say, I'm a little surprised because I thought it was gonna be NSYNC, Backstreet Boys.
Oh no, that's still on his playlist. He was just embarrassed. Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson. He plays all that.
I'm Britney, bitch.
Like, exactly. He was just saying that at the bar this afternoon.
That is what I said.
I'm like,
Say it
Ted,
ain't so, Ted.
I'm like, Ted,
Come
let's
on.
go get a beer. He's like, I'm Brittany, bitch. I'm like, all right, well, that's fine,
someone
Brittany. Let's go get a beer.
someone puts that on the jukebox and he just gets up.
No, but fun fact, though,
That's
for a
my
while,
jam.
Ted was like, he's been on an '80s kick. Like anytime we're in the bar that has a jukebox, he's playing '80s rock, and like he's like all in on it too.
All in, like, you know, and the problem is if they would make music nowadays that was actually good, like I have to resort to going backwards. So when I'm done listening to my 90s rock, I have to go back to the 80s to get something that's real, because anything coming out now is it's absolutely awful, and I feel sorry for the kids nowadays. But that's what you have to do to go back to get real, self-made music.
A lot of modern stuff is overproduced. It's very much thrown together in a studio. There's not a lot of soul. But this band is definitely art, old school, kick you in the ass, rock all day.
R.I.P. to Lemmy.
Oh, man. What a loss.
Look at that picture.
Yeah.
So-
Motorhead is some good stuff.
With I tell the children at work, I live my life one Motorhead song at a time. So again, we got to get up, get hype, stay hype. And I'm one of those people that uses music for energy. When I'm not motivated, that is what I have to do. And like I said, Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart, Motorhead's Ace of Spades. I was very late to the game on Motorhead. I was introduced to it through the wrestler Triple H. In the early 2000s, he came out with Motorhead song "The Game," and then he has two songs. The other one is "King of Kings," which I very much adopted. It is my ringtone. If you call me, that is what is going to play on my phone. But "King of Kings" I found incredibly relatable because in my professional career, as I moved up in the world, that's just what I did. I solved the problems, fixed everything, kissed the ring. King of Kings. But Motorhead, man, gets me going, keeps me going. Not all of it is for me, but man, you want a headbang? Motorhead is the way to go. All day, every day.
Absolutely.
Love
All
the band.
day. Yeah. And again, G-Force Racing, bring it to where we live. Many of the music reaction channels are younger adults, and they're all blown away when they go back to the 90s, 80s, 70s, and 60s. Yeah, when the younger generation gets to experience music that's put together by real artists, it's a new experience for them. And we're definitely seeing that with some of these reactions. Yeah, 1916, definitely solid. So, yeah, great stuff, man. And that, I believe, brings us to almost the end of the Ted DarkClaw playlist that we have for tonight. Another great band that I know is a favorite of Will's, A Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, I said I was going to come vibe with Wilhelm, man.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I remember the anthology. This was great when this came out. This is awesome.
And again, it's just some of their best work. And I remember listening to Tribe Called Quest my senior year in high school, cruising around with the other third of the sexy trio, and that is Chad, who lives out in Tennessee now. We don't really talk to him anymore, but that's how I was introduced to Tribe. And when Aaron and I and Chad, when we formed the sexy trio, and we were actually semi taking it seriously, Q-Tip was a big influence on me and how I did things. A lot of rap at the time, or hip hop, was gangster rap, or the speed rap was starting to flow in there. It was just all about shooting, getting revenge, whatnot. And Tribe showed me that you could speak slowly about things and still convey a message without being absolutely insane the whole time. Plus, they introduced Busta Rhymes. They did stuff with Beastie Boys. Man, just nothing but love for a Tribe. And like I said, they were big inspiration on kind of our, I don't want to call it a hip hop career because that's not what it was. But our little band that we had rapping under streetlights.
Oh yes,
that was a big piece of it for me.
But yeah, I agree with random. Low End Theory was also another good album that they did. Very underrated for what they did. I mean, the anthology definitely was more the more mainstream album that had multiple hits. But man, you play Low End Theory, you're getting just as good music to me than what you're getting with the anthology.
Listen, Busta Rhymes mentioning Dungeons and Dragons is we're going to listen to them. And that is nice. Right. And then there is one of my favorite lyrics in all of that Busta Rhymes has ever said was actually on a Leaders of the New School album. There was a song called Syntax Error. And he says, and I quote, "Chicky Chaka, Chewbacca, Gidgy Gotcha Gotcha." And once you hear him say those words, you would love that song. It's such a great song. Go listen.
Very
to
cool.
It.
Brick something says Low End Theory got him through high school. It's groovy, man.
Midnight Marauders was awesome. We loot ears. Yeah, it's just good stuff, man.
Mr. Wonderful. This guy. Get him out of here. Mods, kick this guy
out. And GeForce Racing 20 is quite the cosmopolitan man. He says besides Hendrix and Biggie, he's seen all of these bands, which is very cool.
I have not.
It's awesome to see stuff live when you can.
Yeah.
That's why we're not going to be live this weekend. I'll actually be at a 4-day concert. Get to see Kiss for the second time.
Oh, cool!
Their final farewell tour.
No, it's the prelude to the final.
So
yes,
Kiss is that disco band, right? That you're going to go listen to some disco music.
Oh yeah, I'm all down for the disco. Donna Summers is going to be there. We're going to get down.
Oh, nice.
Break out the bell bottoms and
platforms with a dead goldfish going to be in it.
Isn't like Kiss open for Rob Zombie or something like that? Like, is that how that's working?
That's exactly how that's working. No, maybe. Yes.
Really? Yes, Kiss opens for Rob Zombie.
No,
that's
wow.
No, Rob Zombie opens for Kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different.
The Kiss of Death tour. Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend, man.
So when you two knuckleheads got together, when did all the mixtapes and listening to jams in the basement kind of stuff start happening? Was that pretty early in your friendship, or?
I would say it's weird because mixtapes really wasn't a thing. Like we had them, but I worked in a music store, so like I had access to all the hot music, and they had like underground DJs that came in with their mixtapes, so I would just take those and like you kind of got like the first end of what was the hot music for the summer before it became like the hot music. But like for us, like there's a story that he was going to tell, and we'll kind of go ahead and drop the story early. We were talking about music videos back when.
Oh yeah, the Maryland.
So
the calling.
Oh man! So there was a station here. It was called The Box. All they did was play music videos, but you had to pay for it. And Ted would stay at my house, and we were up till God knows what in the morning, and we would use my mom's credit card and. We just buy music videos all night.
So it was like a pay-per-view deal?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So like on the bottom, it'd be a ticker, and it would have like a number. So like say like Kid A is 9771. So you would call in the number and put 9771 to request the song. And then you would wait for like 8 hours for it to play.
Sometimes, yes. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was our childhood for the most part. Just
now, see, I was just getting in trouble with those 900 numbers talking to sexy girls. You guys were actually listening to music. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's easier to explain to my mother that we're getting music than it is trying to call 900 numbers for like.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, they were only like 99 cents. Isn't bad. It wasn't like those 1-900 numbers where they're like $9.99 a minute, and then the menu's like press 1 4 when they just really drag everything.
You've gone through 3 minutes just getting through the preamble.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, I mean a lot of our music came from just influences of each other. A lot of stuff that I listen to, I got him into. A lot of stuff that he listened to that I never heard of is now in my playlist. And then just our friend group, it's such a large group of eclectic musical people. So a lot of their influence has built on top of us. So that's kind of how it all worked out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to Adam from G.I. Joe Lost Chronicles joining us at the tail end here. Catch the replay, my friend.
Jim, when
Some
you
fun
say
stuff.
mixtapes, there's like two different kinds of mixtapes, and I don't know if they had them all over, but like we had the mixtapes where you put a tape in and you waited for your favorite song to play on the radio.
Oh yeah, no, we did that too.
And you made them, or you took, but then there were people, and might be more like a Northeastern thing because this was like in New York City mostly, but people would just make illegal mixtapes of all the most popular music and sell them on street corners.
Yeah, I did that too.
For me, it was more.
That was my hustle for a while.
What do you call it? When the double cassette deck became a thing, a lot of my friends would take their favorite cassettes and would make literal mixtapes. They take their favorite jams off of certain things and then bring it to school and hey man, check this out. Or they'd make multiples and pass them out to their friends. And that's how I got to experience things like Squirrel Nut Zippers and some of the other esoteric bands that didn't get a lot of radio play. And I really enjoyed that. It was very much a community thing where people would be like, man, I love this stuff. You probably haven't heard it. Check it out. See what you think.
There were bands that I didn't even know who they were because like the mixtape was like illegible. So like, or like we just had the tape and we didn't have the booklet that came with it, but we listened to it. So I didn't know who it was. So years later, I'm like, oh, that's who that is.
I'm old, but I'm not old enough to say I owned a reel to reel. So that's way back in the day.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that's what I did, like kind of like after high school. The beauty of the internet at the time, you had Napster and LimeWire. You just download all these songs.
And viruses.
Well, you take your wins and losses where you get them. Yeah? But like I would put together like a CD and I'd burn it like 6, 7, 8 times and I'd sell them for like $5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, it's not bad.
Adam's saying Blue Oyster Cult. Hey, Go Godzilla. I used to play that all day. I love that song to the point of absurdity where my parents are like, please don't play that song again. It's like, it's cool.
I mean, Will Ferrell made them popular again.
Indeed. Because you always need more cowbell.
Absolutely. I that's an image I'll never get out of my head. Just sitting with a half T-shirt.
The half T-shirt just kills it every single time. I'm like, whatever. Like, if he just thought of that, like, spur of the moment, let me just put on the worst T-shirt I could, but his belly hanging out just gets me every single time.
The movie The Frighteners, when they played Don't Fear the Reaper, I loved how they brought that in and made it part of the story. That was kind of cool. I love how, there's all these different tie-ins, whether it's watching wrestling and all of the different intro music that's used, watching great movies and all the soundtrack kind of tunes that you pull up and become part of pop culture or memes or SNL. Definitely. SNL made some great skits and memes using some music. The Blue Oyster Cult one was fun. And, it's all good. Our music gets, brought to us from all different areas of the ether. And it's always cool to listen to guests come in and talk about where their music comes from or their fondest memories from way back when.
Yeah, you can't depend on the music companies to put in front of you what is the best music out there because they're just putting what they want you to, whatever market to you. So it takes buddies like you guys right there to get us or me interested in some stuff that maybe I haven't heard before. So pretty much every episodes of this show so far, I have discovered something new. So
same.
Like I said, I got my playlist started from, like I said, Laser Pants had a couple good ones in there.
Yeah, he did.
And like Random Diorama points out, similar chord progressions are found in a lot of great music that we like. It's always fun when you listen to people who do like medleys and they're like, okay, here's 4 chords. Here's every song that you love that's in these same 4 chords. And they'll just play them and they all fit together. They're like, oh shit, I had no idea. These all fit together, but it's all good.
I got a show idea for you whenever you want to put it together. Greatest I can't even think of the word. It's like remakes. Greatest remakes.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
There's a lot.
There are a lot. That is definitely a
Absolutely.
show. As Adam has pointed out, he put some little Easter eggs in his photo stories. He does some great photo stories in the 1/6 scale with the G.I. Joe adventure
super
team.
cool.
So yeah, those are fun to check out, and we'll listen for some of his sound cues that he's got going on in there. Yep, 4 and 8 count. A lot of songs fit in those two areas. But we're at the hour mark, kids. We could talk all night, I'm sure, but
We could.
I need to grab something to eat because I've been having too many tasty beverages on an empty stomach.
I hear you.
Any final thoughts or things you guys want to plug before we hit the?
Yeah. So one, thank you for having me. Not a big fan of this guy right here coming in here, but I'm kidding. I love this man. We will be on the Unboxing Art channel tomorrow night because we will not be going live this Sunday.
Okay.
So State of the Art at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can get your hella dope fill there. Again, don't look for us Sunday. We won't be there. I'm going to be relaxing, not making thumbnails, not setting up a show. He's going to be rocking out to Kiss. I'm going to be doing this.
I'll be doing that too. But
Yeah,
with
and
Kiss.
then you guys can catch us back on June 4th. But
any more wrestling coverage coming from Hella Dope in the near future?
undecided.
To be determined at a future date.
We were debating it today. It is thought we might do something next Tuesday. It's we see how we feel.
That's right.
All right, Aaron, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, you got get your Robo Force, man.
Get your
Indeed.
Force.
I mean, I see Largo with a nice little robot behind him.
Indeed, I've got a little bit of was it B7 from Lost in Space. I do have the first two of the newer releases of Robo Force. I'm hoping to see some of the new ones that are coming out, and when they do, oh yeah, puffy stickers.
Oh, you got the box with all the stickers. Dang it! Oh man, I gave him half the inventory today, and didn't realize I gave him a box with all the stickers. I was going to stick those all over my wall. Time.
Oh, man, I saw like, oh my god, was stickers.
Yeah, I was going to say the new Nacelle RoboForce was one of the first reviews I did on the channel, and they are working on putting together a new cartoon and new figures. That's right, Biker Mice. That'll be another fun one. I hope they do the bikes. Yes, that's right.
Pre-order coming out with the bikes. Yes,
awesome.
They unofficially said it like a couple weeks ago.
And the unofficial tie-in with Boglins, we've got what is it?
Sectars.
Sectars. There's also a nacelle property that's going to be coming out, and so there's cool stuff on the horizon. Check out Hella Dope for your pre-orders. Also, Street Fighter. I saw you guys posted. Was it Chun-Li? Sexy Chun-Li, girl with the kung fu thighs. Gotta love her. Mm-hmm. Got to get that on pre-order. So, as you're rocking out to kung fu fighting, you can have your Street Fighter guys set up and get a little montage going.
There it is.
All right, kids. I'm gonna bail because I need to get some dinner, and it's been fun. It's been real. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Aaron. Always thank you guys.
Thank you for letting me crash.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anytime.
We needed. Yeah. It's like. Yeah, we definitely needed somebody to bust Aaron's chops a little bit. Or I mean, Ted's chops. So
that's fine. I probably deserve it. I deserve it. It's fine. I'll let him have the win here. It's fine. Yes. I'll be the Genetti today.
You guys are some of our favorite people to hang out with, whether it's on Sunday nights or on our channel. So it's always cool. And go Mud Hens.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Everybody. Thanks, try guys. To have a good night. We'll see you in the near future.